Okay, welcome to Chris Uncharted. Today, I'm going to talk vintage outboards. I've collected outboards for years, and it's something I really enjoy. I think a lot of people are into it these days because it reminds you of perhaps years ago, your grandfather, or when you were a kid, or just old times on the water, and you've seen these old motors years ago, and now the fact that you can actually find them for an affordable price and have them in your possession, restore them, or just keep them as they were, is something that I cherish. It brings back a lot of memories. It's not an expensive hobby. I mean, you don't need a large garage like you would for storing cars, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So let's show you guys some of the collection. So first off, I keep them in my little nautical house here. So we'll open it up. I'll show you what's inside. So this is part of my collection, and I started about 15 years ago. So any memorabilia, anything I find, maybe on a road trip, different clubs that you can belong to, there's all kinds of vintage stuff out there. Often you can find it for a pretty good price and just build your own collection. There's vintage signs, there's reproduction equipment, old gas tanks. So my collection, what I've done is I've tried to have a little bit of everything. So I've got Chrysler. A lot of mine are from the 50s. So 50s are generally described as classic outboards, not antique. Antique is often the 20s and 30s and 40s. I have a couple of those. A few of them are inside. And I like the 50s motors because I'm 53 right now, and when I was a kid, motor from 1955 was only 20-25 years old. So I remember these at the cottage as a kid, and it brings back great memories. So as a kid, often we didn't have a lot of money, and to have a boat motor was a huge deal. And we had a small 15 horse outboard. So to own these now, it's something special. So here, I've got Mercs, 1956 Merc, that's a 69. There's a Johnson, 5.5, 1955. Here's a 57 Evinrude, 7.5 horse. Wizards are a little more rare. The one in the right there in the green, that's a, I think it's a 56 Wizard, don't quote me exact on all the years. Another Merc. Scott Atwater, that was a unique motor. A lot of old motors are on wooden boats, and if anyone knows old wooden boats, they know they leaked. So this had a system called a bail-o-matic, and the hose here is actually hooked up to the motor, and part of the cooling system was fed obviously by the lake, and the rest of it was fed by water in the boat. So it actually pumped water out of the boat, so it would cool the motor and keep your feet dry. Viking, it's an old motor there. I think that's a 1950. And then Viking newer, this is in the 60s. And Viking and Gale were very similar motors. So I saw the orange Gale, I liked the color. It was in great shape, so I bought it to match the Viking. And again, speaking of buying them, they're not expensive. Sure, some motors restored, ground up, can run you $1,000. But a lot of these motors are $50, some of them $100. So it's not really an expensive hobby. This is a nice motor. I like this one, an old Evinrude Zephyr. And the small Johnson, it's a 3 horse. This Evinrude, it was really beat up. It's all rusted. So I thought, you know what? I'll keep it. I found it and spray painted it a different color and put a decal on it. So it's a neat looking old motor. No, it doesn't run, but it's for display. And then here, 50th anniversary edition, I think this is a 1971, the 2 horse Johnson. And the Johnson 5. This one runs, nice motor. It's my dad's old tackle box. Chryslers were a neat motor back in the day. Yeah, everybody knows Chrysler made cars, but they also made boats. They made a good boat. And now for my Primo collection. These are my my best motors. I keep them in another garage, and I've paid a little more for these, not an extravagant amount. The most I've paid for a motor is about $1,000. And depends who you know, depends where you find them. In the States, they're cheaper. Up in Canada here, some of the restored ones are fairly pricey. The Mercs, they're getting harder to come by, that's why. And a little more knowledge to work on the old Mercuries. OMC are pretty simple to work on, and a lot of the parts are readily available. But anyways, I'll show you the collection. So here we have it. This is the collection I'm very proud of. And again, I've been collecting for about 15 years. And the thing about antique outboard collecting, or classic outboard collecting, when you see one and you really want it, and you've been waiting for it, you better buy it. It's not like Walmart. You can't go back the next day and buy it. It may be gone. So if you see something you've really been looking for, it's a decent price, and it's the outboard you want, you better snag it. So here's a Martin 45. Martins were a nice outboard. They were a fairly high-end motor. It's actually got trim on it, manual trim. Turn the knob here and it tilts the tire unit up and down. Smooth, very quiet. I think that one's a 52. I have to look up the years. I mean, I know a lot of them offhand, but I might be out by a year or two on them. And this is my Mercury Mark 25. An older fellow built this for me, ground up. His wife had passed away. I had bought a few other motors from him, and I asked him if he had a Mark 25. He says, "I'm working on one right now, Chris, and I'll make it for you over the winter." So it's all original, and then new internals, and he's then refinished it. So it's a beautiful motor, and I'll never sell it. Also a Mark 20, 16 horse, and the Mark 25 is 20 horse. These are a beautiful engine. That's a KG7 Mercury. They're rated at, or they say they're 10 horse, but they put out about 17. They're fast, and these were the motors that were used on hydroplanes to race with a quickie lower unit. You can get them up to 50 miles an hour on a 10-foot hydro. And classic old Johnson Seahorse, a 5.5. And this one would be an antique, an old A35 Johnson. A beautiful motor. Brass on the back there. And these, the Chris Craft Commander. This is a rare motor. It's a fast motor, and I got it from a guy I know well. And it's a runner as well. And then another cool motor. Similar design to the Mercury KG7, but this is I should say Chris Craft Commander as well, but this is a Wizard Super 10. Again, it's underrated at 10 horse, so it's much faster than that. More powerful, I should say. And it's a beauty as well. And a couple more Mercs back here. These 7.5, rated probably about 9. And this one would be a Mark 10. The Mercs are, I think they're pieces of art. Rather than today, everything's plastic. Beautiful. So I wanted to share that with you guys, and hopefully other people that may be wanting to get into collecting, this will inspire you. Again, it brings back memories. It's a cool hobby. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's not overly expensive. So like the video and subscribe, and we'll explore some new cool gadgets, cool hobbies, and some interesting places that we go. Okay, cheers. Take care.